This is my competition PID line follower. And this is an example course it has to follow, which has a line that's just 7.5 millimeters thick and has many sharp twists and intersections where the robot has to break out a line following and make a 90-degree turn. So in this video, we'll see how fast I can get it, and you'll learn a little bit about PID along the way. But first, let me educate you a little bit. Let's talk about some physical aspects of my design. So after a quick search online, I determined the basic shape of a line follower, which incorporates two wheels, a shaft, and also a line sensor at the end of the shaft. Through my extensive research, I've also found that the length of the shaft, length S, forms a direct correlation with the performance of your line follower, as having a longer shaft allows you to turn faster. Normally, 8 inches is suitable, but from competitions, 4 to 6 inches is the average. Most of the robots you'll see online use PCB for the chassis material, so that the circuits are integrated into the supporting structure, or acrylic for the precision and simplicity. But since my competition requires a little more load to be carried, which I'll explain in a later episode, I'll 3D print my chassis with a 4mm thickness. And here it is. Now let me give you a quick rundown of my own design. Since I saw most people just shoving the battery on the underside of the robot with some rubber bands, which I thought was a little lazy, I decided to make a dedicated battery holder, which doesn't even work, but that's besides the point. I also incorporated fully enclosed motor mounts into the chassis design because these motor brackets require an uncommon screw size and love to become really flimsy every couple of minutes. Alright, enough yapping now, let's assemble the line follower. The chassis is actually 2 parts, or 3 if you count the motor cover, and aside from the main one you saw printing before, this other plate is for mounting the line sensor so that the height can be adjusted. Alright, now that I finished assembling the robot, I should be all good to start coding and testing it. But there's just one problem. I have no way to stop or start the program. And that's where a sponsor, PCBWay, comes in. With their generous sponsorship, I was able to add a third PCB to my robot, which has the controlling buttons and links back to the main PCB with this cable assembly, as you can see. They make it so easy to order too. Simply upload your Gerber file and choose the nicely laid out parameters, or if you're using KiCad, you can do it all in one click with their plugin. If you'd like to get PCBs for as cheap as 50 cents each, I couldn't recommend PCBWay more, and make sure to use my link in the description to get $5 off your first order and help support the channel. Make sure you get it before the 50% off Christmas sale ends though, because that only lasts until the 31st of December. Again, thanks to my friends over at PCBWay for making this project possible, and let's start with a basic P or proportional algorithm. Here's how it works. The value of sensor B is subtracted from the value of sensor A to determine error in the position to the line, and then it is multiplied by a coefficient called Kp and added to the steering value. When both sensors are on white, the steering value is 0, so the robot moves forward. The more that one sensor moves onto black, the faster the robot will turn that way. Check this out. If you've ever even heard of the concept of line following, you would know that the main goal is to follow the line, and the other goal is to make it go fast. And as you just saw, my robot did none of those things. Well, why did that happen? When both sensors are on black, they'll read the same value, and the error will be 0, leading the robot to move forward and skip past the intersection. To fix this, we need to use the sensors on the very outside, which should never hit black unless an intersection is seen, if I make the line following code correct. Okay, let's step it up a notch now with PID. In addition to the P factor being added to the steering value, I and D will also be added. I, or integral, accumulates a value based on the current error and previous i's, and after the other parameters are put into this formula, its value is added to the steering factor to fix steady-state errors when the robot encounters the same error for a long period of time. The D value protects the robot from overshooting too much, as it starts to resist turning if the robot goes too fast. Okay, here's the big one, the PID algorithm and intersections. How fast can we get it? Okay, that's all for me. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss competition day. And thanks to PCBWay for all this awesome Christmas merch. Happy holidays!